Welcome to Storytime with Papa Henry. We are reading the book Captain Daly's Crew and the Long-Eared Taxicab. And we are ready to begin Chapter 8, which is entitled The Little Old Man Again. Who's the little old man? Go ahead, say it out.
Jeremiah.
Right, Jeremiah Quaggins. I thought everybody would say it. Okay. We called a half dozen times as we ran down a long, rocky slope, hemmed in on either side with a dense underbrush and towering trees. That smoke seems awfully close, but I can't see a thing, I panted. Pudge's face was a deep rosy color as he puffed. Gary, must think we must have passed it. I glanced back over my shoulder and stopped. For to the left, off the main trail, was another trail we had missed as we passed by. We could see about 500 yards in that direction, and a misty blue haze drifted through the wall of green. Fire's up there! I shouted, then gave another bellow. Jennifer! There was no reply. By the time I called again, we were racing up the path. Sure enough, the fire was there, or at least had been there, but someone had scattered the embers just a few minutes before, for curls of smoke still reached skyward. She heard us and she's running away, Pudge gasped. Well, it's a snap she didn't run down that way, I said, indicating the way we had been traveling, nor back from where we came. So she must be going up this trail. Jumping pumpkin seeds, gasped Pudge as he sank to the trail. What did she answer for if she didn't want to be caught? I hadn't thought of that, I sighed. Why would she answer, then run? Well, tubful, hoist yourself up and let's hurry. Gary, I can't, honest. My legs were tired before we began to run. They're a lot more tired now. Get on that spindly-legged, long-eared taxicab of yours then. Pudge brightened. Say, I never thought of that. And he scrambled to his feet and climbed aboard Petronella. The donkey wasn't too keen about this load. In fact, I don't think she was too keen about the whole trip. I'll go further. I don't think there was a thing in this world that donkey was keen about except maybe sleeping. Almost as soon as we left the fire, the trail cut sharply to the left and along a ridge. To our right, we could see bits of a gigantic valley through the trees. It doesn't seem possible, Pudge said from atop Petronella, that a skippy girl like Jennifer could get so far ahead of us. I don't see how she does it, I agreed, as I dug out a sandwich, for by now it was way past 2 in the afternoon. Suddenly, just after we had gone around a curve in the trail, we looked ahead and exclaimed almost together, Jeremiah Quaggins! What are you doing here? I called. Yeah, I'm following that there girl, was the little old man's reply. Looks to me as though you're just running away from us, Pudge said. It was you that had the fire back there, and it was you that answered us when we called before. The ancient bandy-legged character sat on the earth floor muttering. I answered a call, but I figured it was the girl up the trail. I come running up here, but I ain't seen her. Well, we called when we smelled smoke. It must have been you who answered us, and we figured you were the girl, I explained. Pudge broke in. If you did hear us call and you thought it was the girl, why didn't you come back and check? Never thought of going back. I figured she was up ahead. Anyway, the voice seemed to come from ahead of me. That girl's up ahead of us. I know that. How do you know? Pudge asked sharply. Mr. Quaggins reached into his pocket and drew out 2 narrow strips from the same handkerchief we had found. And on each, there was a little spot of blood. I found these here along this trail. I must have missed that first one you got. What are we waiting for then? I glanced at my watch. It was 4 o'clock. Even if we should find her within the next hour, it's going to be dark before we get back. Wait a minute, Gary. Before we go, I want to ask Mr. Quaggan something. Just why, Pudge said in his detective tone voice, did you leave us down at the lodge so sudden? And why did you break camp and hurry up here? Mr. Quaggan ran his hand over his bald head. Well, when I heard this here sassy girl was missing, and you said as how I was wrong in letting her go, I says to myself, I says, Jeremiah Quaggins, ye hike up there and fetch her back. So that's why I'm here. Pudge shot out. But why did you break camp? Jeremiah Quaggins scowled. Don't have to tell you nothing. I ain't done nothing wrong. But I'll tell you anyhow. I had something there that I didn't want nobody to see. So I just up and hides it, not wanting nobody poking around. I could see Pudge wanted to ask more questions, but I broke in. I don't know whose side you're on, Mr. Quaggins, but if you're not on the enemy's side, I have an idea. I don't know nothing about the enemy. Who's that? The question stopped me short. Well, I admitted, I don't know, but this whole thing seems pretty mysterious to me. My idea is this. Suppose you turn around and go back and tell them we know we're on the right trail. I explained to him about the others heading the other way. Then they can come up here and meet us. Or if we don't catch up to her, we'll all travel together. Then keep right on going and explain to Pudge's aunt and uncle and Captain Daly. All right, boys. To prove I ain't done nothing wrong, I'll do just what ye be asking me. Pudge mounted Petronella again, and we were off once more. Within 20 minutes, the ridge trail cut to the right, and suddenly we were out on a stony plateau. We moved forward, and the sight that met our eyes beyond the plateau was a wonder to see. There was a gigantic valley spreading away in front of us. The forest covered practically every inch of the rim of mountains rising from the edge of the valley. It looked as though we were peering into the bottom of a huge kettle, and at the bottom of the kettle was a brilliant blue lake. Pudge expressed my feeling when he said, "Isn't that something?" It was something. And even though I felt disturbed about Jennifer, I couldn't help but thrill at the sight of this wonder of nature. Look, I said, pointing beyond the plateau to the steep declining mountainside. There's the trail. Like a filmy thread, I could trace its direction down to the floor of the valley for quite a distance. Suddenly, Pudge screamed, or maybe I should say he bellowed. Hey, there she is! It's her! Down there! Hey, Jennifer! I followed his pointing finger and just did manage to catch sight of a little flash of motion a long way off. I wasn't sure it was Jennifer, but I added my calls to Pudge's. The next chapter is called Something's Behind That Bush.